Hello, in this video I'm going to explain division. Now there are three forms of division, three different ways to represent division. So for example, let's say we were dividing 2 divided into 6. 2 divides into 6 3 times. Okay, so there are 3 groups of 2 that can fit into 6. These are the 3 groups of 2 that can divide evenly into 6. 2 divides into 6 3 times. So this is one way to represent it. Another way to look at it is this way. 6 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2, which is, again, 3. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So here you would say it from left to right. 6 divided by 2. In this format here, you could say it in 2 ways. You can verbally say it as 2 divided into 6, or you can say it as 6 divided by 2. But here, really, you would just say it from left to right. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay? And there's a third format. And the third format is this way. 6 divided by 2. It's in fraction format. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So these are 3 different ways to represent division. Okay, so get used to all 3 ways to represent division. This we will cover more in Math 50. You will not see this much in Math 50, if at all. This is the method you will see mostly in this course and the early parts of Math 50. Okay? So 3 ways to represent division. Now, each of these numbers has a name. We have labels attached to these numbers, so that way they're easy to identify. So this number here, this number in front, is the divisor. The number inside the box is the dividend. And the number up here is the answer, also known as the quotient. All right. So that's how you would label each of these numbers for that setup. Now for this setup, it's going to look like this. So this is now going to be the dividend. And then you have the division symbol, and this is the divisor. Equals the answer or the quotient. Okay, so this belongs to that format. And then over here, the 6, it represents the dividend. Okay, so dividend. We're dividing into the dividend. The 2 represents a divisor. We're dividing by the divisor. And the quotient is the answer. All right, so get familiar with these 3 different ways to represent division. All right, now a topic that comes up a lot and a lot of students have misunderstanding is this whole division with zero situation. Division with zero. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and erase this. And let me show you some examples, which hopefully are going to make it easier for you to remember what the answer is when you divide into zero or when you divide by zero. Okay, so let's look at divide into zero first. Divide into zero. So let's say we have 2 divided into 0. So 2 divided into 0. Whenever we divide into 0, the answer is 0. Okay, whenever we divide into 0, the answer is 0. So that's one way to represent it. Another way to represent it is this. 0 divided by 2. Okay, that's the other way to represent it. 0 divided by 2. 0 divided by 2. Okay, 0 divided by 2 is 0. So you got to be careful of the verbiage so you don't want to mix these up, right? You don't want to mix these up. 0 divided by 2. And we know the answer is 0. Then finally, we have this format, 0 divided by 2. Now you can think of this fraction as part over the whole. Okay, you'll see that in Math 50. Part over the whole. When you have 0 in the part, that means the result, the answer is 0. You have nothing. And we'll go over a couple of examples here to hopefully help you memorize this. So when you divide into 0, okay, into 0, the answer is 0. Okay, so now let's flip this around. Let's divide by 0 and see what happens. Now we're going to divide by 0. So really what's going to happen is we're going to flip-flop the 0 and 2. 0 divided into 2, or you can say it as 2 divided by 0. Whenever you divide by 0, the answer is not defined, or undefined, not defined, undefined, no solution. They all mean the same thing. It's not possible to do so. All right, now, what would it look like in this format? Well, here you would say 2 divided by 0. See, that's why the words matter, because that way you'll know, is it into, is it by? It's by. We're dividing by 0. 2 divided by 0. We cannot divide by 0, not defined. And the way it would look like here would be this way. 2 divided by 0, not defined. Okay, so we got part over the whole. We have a part of something, but there's no whole, which kind of makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. You have a part of something, but this whole does not exist. So, yeah, that makes sense. It's not defined. All right, now let's see if we can figure out some other way to help us remember this. Let's try a couple other techniques so that way you'll understand which case it is. Is the answer 0 or undefined? All right, so let's give an example here where we have 6 divided by 2 is 3, correct? 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we can check that by multiplying, doing some multiplication. So if we multiply 2 times 3, does that give us 6? Yes, it does. So we know this equation makes sense. It's called an equation because there's an equal sign there. Simple little equation. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Yes, that makes sense because 2 times 3 is 6. All right. Let's say we have this. 0 divided by 2. And let's say we don't know, is the answer 0 or not defined? I don't know, but I'm going to guess 0. I'm going to take a guess here because I forgot. Okay. I'm not sure. Well, I can check, right? I can check because can I say 2 times 0 is 0? Yeah, look, there's our answer. So that verifies. 2 times 0 is 0. So this absolutely does make a lot of sense. So when the 0 is on top, the answer is 0. Because when you multiply the denominator times the answer, you get 0 as the result. So yes, this makes complete sense. And again, I don't know what the answer is. I forgot. I cannot remember if it's undefined or 0. So I'm going to put 0 here and, and see what happens. All right, so let me check. Let me multiply, see what I get. 0 times 0 is the answer 2? No, you say. Absolutely not. No. No. See, when the denominator is 0, the answer cannot be 0 because 0 times 0 is not 2. It's 0, right? So this makes no sense at all. Not defined. It's not defined. All right, so let's see where we're at here. We got this done, that done, that done. It's time to talk pizza. So if this analogy helps you, fine. If not, disregard. All right. So another way to hopefully help you understand and recall and remember when the answer is 0 or undefined. All right, so here we go. So bear with my artistic inability. Here's a pizza box. Okay, there it is. And, there's one slice in there. There are 2 slices. There are 3 slices in this pizza box. Now, this pizza box holds 8 potential slices. And there are 3 slices in the pizza box. So the pizza box is 3/8 full. Okay? Remember, part over the whole. The whole represents the total amount that can possibly fit in the pizza box. There could be 8 slices potentially, but there are currently only 3. All right, so this kind of makes sense, right? I think that's pretty reasonable to think of. That makes sense. All right, well, let's see what happens when there are no slices in the box. So you open up the pizza box, there are no slices left. These are just placeholder. These are just blank pizza greasy spots with cheese all around the edges. So you have 0 slices in a box that could contain 8. How many slices are there in a box? 0. So when the 0 is on top, the answer is 0. There are no slices left. There it is. It's 0. Okay. Now, let's try something else. Remember, the fraction is part over the whole. Okay, part over the whole. All right. So, let's see if this makes any kind of sense, actually. We say that there are 8 slices in the box. However, there is no box. Look, there's no box. Right here, it tells you, no box. Part over the whole. There's no hole. So this makes 0 sense. No, there are not 8 slices. This makes absolutely no sense at all. Not defined. It doesn't matter how big this number is. 1.2 million. I don't care what it is. If the 0 is in the denominator, it is not defined. Okay? So hopefully that pizza box analogy helped a little bit. Okay, I have one more analogy. And here we go. It's going to require us to think about distance. It's not a hard problem at all. It's going to test my artistic abilities. Okay, there's me. It looks just like me, yes. Okay, and here is a wall. All right, so from me to the wall is 6 feet. From me to the wall is 6 feet. Okay, now each stride that I take is 2 feet. All right, each stride, my leg swings out 2 feet. Each stride I take is 2 feet. So the question is, how many strides would I have to take to move from here, where I'm standing, to the wall? Well, there's one stride, another stride, and another stride. It takes 3 strides to get from here 6 feet to the wall, because each stride is 2 feet. Each stride is 2 feet, and the wall is 6 feet away. How many strides does it take to reach the wall? 3. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't have zeros here because I want you to see something without the zeros. All right. Now, let's talk zeros. Let's talk zeros. For some reason, my feet are glued to the ground. Yeah, my feet are glued. I cannot move. Now, if I could move, I know I could do 2-foot strides. Okay. I still want to get from where I am to the wall, which is 6 feet away. The wall is 6 feet away. but I cannot move. Look, 0. My feet are glued. I can't move. How long will it take me to move from here to the wall? Till the end of time, right? Not defined. I'll never get there. I'll never get there. I'm trying to divide by 0 to get to some destination. I can't move. I'll never get there. All right, so if you divide by 0, it's undefined. Okay, so hopefully that helped a little bit. Now, the glue magically disappears from my feet, and instead, what happens? The wall magically appears right next to me. It's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so here's the wall right there. That's my hair. Okay, here's the wall. It's right next to me. All right, now let's use division to see if we can figure something out. I know that my stride length is 2 feet. Now, how far is the wall? How far is the wall from me? 0, because it's touching. I'm touching the wall. My face, my hair is touching the wall. So the distance between me and the wall is 0. Okay. Now the question is, so my feet are fine. You know, they're not glued. I can move them if I have to. I can walk towards the wall. How many strides would I have to take where each stride is 2 feet in length? How many strides would I have to take to reach the wall, which is right up against me? 0, right? 0, 0. I'm right up against the wall. I don't need to move at all. When you divide into 0, the answer is 0. Okay, the answer is 0. All right. All right, so let's see where we're at. Right, so I think we're ready to do some MATLAB Plus problems. So I wanted to do this with you guys because this is always a confusing part, and you know, you're going to see this in the future, right? Possibly on a test. So you definitely want to know how to do those. All right, so all right, I'll talk about short division in a bit. Why don't we do some of these MATLAB Plus problems? All right, so here we go. Choose the pair of division statements that is equivalent to 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Could it be A, 12 divided by 4? No, because this is the dividend. This should be in the box. I don't see 12 in the box. Nope, that's not it. Next, let's go to B. 12 is the dividend. It should be in the box. Is it? It is. Divided by 4. This is the divisor. This should be outside the box to the left. Is it? Nope. Nope. Next. 12 is in a box. Good. The 4 is the divisor. Good. The 3 is the quotient or the answer on top. Is this equivalent to this? Yeah, because look, dividend, divisor, quotient. That looks good. And then here, the 12 is not in the box. So C should be what they're looking for. Divide when possible. 46 divided into 46. Okay. So anything divided by itself, okay, anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, it's an identity property, it's called. So whenever you divide something by itself, it's 1. Real quick, let's look at it. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. Why? Because 2 times 1 is 2. That's why. All right, so the answer is 1. And there's no remainder. There's nothing left over. 2 is divided by 2 exactly 1 time. It fits perfectly. There's nothing left over. So the quotient is 1, and there's no remainder. And you'll see remainder later on. See that? So you tell me what it is. Here, are we dividing into 0 or by 0? What are we doing? Are we dividing into 0 or by 0? This is equal to which is also equal to what's the answer? Correct. So, undefined. This is the same as remember the pizza box analogy? All right? Remember that? Remember the distance analogy? If not, you can do the equation form. Let's do the equation form. So I forgot what it is. I can't remember. I forgot what it is. So let me do the equation form so I can figure it out. I'm going to guess the answer is 0 because I can't remember. Well, let me see. 9 times 0 is 0. Oh, yeah. Good. Yep. So our answer is 0. And there's no remainder.